Before we get into today's session, I also do want to point out, hey, despite having more time than normal, thanks to all of the stuff going on in everybody's life and the fact that it's like 180 degrees everywhere, I've actually had less time than expected to work on this. So this might be a shorter session, especially while we're in transition, and I don't know what you guys are going to get up to.
Sounds great.
That being said,
fully expected you to go into an ad read there, because the way you started that sounded like you were about to talk to me about Shadow Raid.
Oh man, no. If anything, I
Shadow
just got
Legends Raid. What is it?
Raid Shadow Legends.
There you go.
Special thanks to tonight's sponsor, Audible. Use my promo code ZEL1. You can download your first free book today and get started right away.
No, I just started seeing ads for some new, really good-looking protein bars. We'll try that out. See if I can get some sponsorships for my maybe one viewer. I'm just going to need Trollin to buy 500 protein bars. All right, so we talked a little bit about the future, and I'm excited for that because that means there is one. Now we got to talk about the past, and I'm pretty sure nobody's excited about that if you remember it. Who wants to tell us what happened last time?
Previously on D&D.
Wonderful.
I just did the voiceover for the notes. I'll share my notes if nobody else will do it, but...
No, it's Foob or Sav's turn.
Sav wasn't here, and Foob left early. So it's you or me.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors.
I'm glad you remembered I left early because I forgot.
Yeah, let's hear from John because he was a little more pivotal in the end of that session. And I would make X do it if he was here.
Oh, by the way, just a little side note. The shirtless guy did not talk to me all that much. He just kind of grunted.
Mm-hmm.
And
he does make noises, but yeah, he doesn't talk very much.
Yeah. It was more grunts and mm-hmm.
Do you want to show me on the doll where he touched you?
Yeah, it was just right here.
Gross. All right, give us our recap.
All right.
It was his toes, by the way.
I don't remember if we started at the bridge with the raptor and the kobold under the bridge, or if we picked up later from there, but we resolved that conflict and continued farther up the mountains pass. We heard a ominous noise that led to us encountering the grizzled man of the mountain, a fabled druid who had at his beck and call I don't remember which type of dinosaur, but a large, imposing, maybe Allosaurus-looking guy is how I'm imagining it in my mind's eye. Threatened us to leave the mountain. We had a brief social interaction with him, convinced him that if he just helps us find the... I did forget about Andromeda. We'll circle back around to that. That's a subplot. I'm doing primary story first. If he helped us find the vegetable, the turnips? Yes. Her Majesty's turnips. That we'd be off his mountain even faster. He basically conceded on the grounds that we were walking into our own deaths, and that's not going to be, either way, we're going to be out of his hair by the end of the evening. Told us where to go. We followed that path. We did find an area where the Her Majesty turnips grow. However, we also were aware that this is the Queen of Spite's hunting ground, so Morithos and Holden snuck their sneakiest best to gather the 30 turnips that we needed. However, and I'm going to firmly blame this on Morithos because he's not here, Morithos made a large enough sound to be heard by the Queen of Spite, and she did a dramatic reveal, dropping the corpse of the large raptor that we were fighting previously. She had apparently dined on that earlier this evening and dropped the corpse almost on Morithos, who then peed himself and ran away like a girl. That sound drew her ire, and she swooped down. I retreated defensively, bravely, trying to protect the other members of the party. And it seemed like combat was all but certain until Flynn Fairwind intervened and drew the ire of the Queen of Spite, and he took a hit and she basically just torpedoed him into the ground, leaving a small crater. And we ran, Gandalf style, fly you fools, deciding that there's very little we could do to help him in that particular moment other than honor his sacrifice. That's where we ended in the primary story. In the secondary things you should know category, we came across a small gynosphinx in the woods named Andromeda, who might be temporally displaced. She doesn't seem to be experiencing time linearly, or at least not in the same way that the rest of the party does, and alluded to a father figure who controls her. And this, her being temporally displaced, is punishment for her curiosity and childlike meddling in things. And she either doesn't know or wasn't willing to share any information about. Oh my goodness, the god's name is eluding me right now.
Telemar.
Telemar, thank you. Sorry. So either where she comes from, Telemar didn't happen, or what she knows about Telemar is potentially very valuable and like sacred information that she can't divulge to us. So we don't know whether she's from our past or an alternate version of our future, or just is, hushed about the subject matter. But she certainly enjoys riddles, and she basically got her leash pulled in the middle of our conversation, and blinked out of time. I think that's everything.
Yeah, that mostly covers it. I like that at least two people, when you went straight to the druid you met, were like, well, wait a sec, hold on, what about our new Sphinx friend?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true. Go ahead.
Did tell us to check the spoon. We had a fairly robust conversation amongst the party about what that could possibly imply. We are fairly confident at this point that that has nothing to do with us now. Perhaps it has something to do with us in the future or us in the past. But we checked every spoon we have and
Yep.
could make neither heads nor tails of it. So be on the lookout for like potential future portents with regards to check the spoon.
Did we check the people spooning?
Were there people spooning?
I don't know. You tell me.
There were not.
Then no.
I mean, maybe back on the ship.
That's
was
true.
We
just
just
gonna say,
established.
We don't know what they were doing.
Sav did get touched in his bathing suit area.
Yeah. So yeah, outside that, and a couple other slightly smaller interpersonal details of she seems to be rather fond of Tyrus and also was curious about where Rain was, because she knew you guys. Like she was very familiar with you when she woke up. She's like, oh hey, it's you again. Outside that, I think we pretty much covered everything. I wanted to check briefly, but I think that actually does cover everything that I wanted to get across. So, save that. And we will pick up after a decent amount of running and hiking. The good news, you guys have a big old bushel of Her Majesty's turnips, most of which survived the run. Because, let's be real, there is kind of a funny picture of you guys running down a mountain with turnips just bouncing out of the basket as you go. But, that's mean, because then you'd have to go back and get them, and get that. I don't go back up that mountain. So, it's a decent trek down the mountain, though, right? It's a good couple hours. A lot of time to get sucked up into your own head. A lot of time to talk to each other if there's anything that you guys would like to acknowledge or air out about the loss of our good friend, who I didn't actually make the connection to Flynn Fairwind at first, but that does seem to match pretty well.
Sorry, we've been doing a ton of islands, and we were in there the other day, and he was like, "Eyes sharp, ears open." I'm like, "Oh my god, this is where Zell got this guy from 100%."
No, there's so far there's already been a lot of really great coincidences like that. Considering seriously, I've never seen or heard anything about Clash of the Titans before.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Maybe you've seen it in the future.
Maybe.
So it popped into your past,
Mm-hmm.
like the character.
So, we don't necessarily need to roleplay this, but there's definitely plenty of time to at least get your bearings and get an idea of where the three of you that aren't stuck on the ship think that you should go from here, to the point where, hey, when you get back to the ship, we can just have a decent conversation about here's what happened and here's what's next. Based on that, unless anybody has anything to say while you guys are on the mountain, I'm happy to fast forward us down back to Cross's Rest.
I don't think Morothos was injured. I can see that Tyrus' token has damage on it, but I don't know how old that is. So I guess first question would be, is there any medical triage that needs to happen? And second would be the reminder to everybody that one of our potential bounties was the mission to kill the large raptor queen that unfortunately the Queen of Spite eviscerated. So I think we either have to accept that that mission is gone, or we have to sneak back up the Mountain of Certain Death to try to recover a corpse and play it off as ours.
I mean, she just had to die. Didn't say how it had to happen.
I think that we were just going to do that as a courtesy for the townsfolk. I don't know that we needed to bring back proof, did we?
I assume that all good kill quests require proof. Otherwise, the town would have to pay out on anybody with a story.
Yeah, I thought we were just going to do that so that we could give the city folk peace of mind. I don't know that they were going to like reimburse us for that. It was just something that we were going to do if we found it.
I thought it was a quest, my bad.
No, but in our original plan, after we got the bushel of Her Majesty's turnips, we were going to travel to Noka Bay to get Ranmar's combustion pot. And since Andromeda asked if we had collected that yet, I definitely think that we should continue that course of action.
So it sounds like, unless somebody's bleeding to death, fast forward to the boat.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Because I understand there's some travel involved, so that we might be able to recover that just through rest.
So we lost the captain for this boat, right?
We did. Who's
How are
gonna
we
be the one
gonna
to break
how are we gonna handle
the news?
that?
Not lost. I know exactly where he is.
Lost in the sense that
Too
he probably is no
soon.
longer alive.
He is that.
Thanks for really drilling that home.
I don't like it.
Now, are we
Okay.
sure?
You know,
Did anyone
honestly,
see a corpse?
we're not certain. And the only way to be certain would be to invite death, so he's missing, presumed dead.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys going to go back and look for him,
No, we
I
can't.
do
I'm not going to say no.
All right, so that's all that I had to contribute. I think we can fast forward through our. There wasn't anything else in terms of activities that we needed to do here at Cross's Rest.
All right.
On the way out, like you said, just tell the whatever villagers remain that the Raptor Queen, whose name I want to say sounds like a song lyric that I can't sing right now.
It's Daisy.
Daisy? Daisy!
Yes, Daisy.
The Collis Z.
Collis Z, yeah.
See, Daisy.
That the Collis Z is dead, and that they need not fear, at least for a while. Maybe that just makes them explore more and find something worse.
I mean, almost guaranteed. Well, by the time you guys get back to town, we're getting to the twilight hours of morning. You guys didn't get to the Queen of Spite's glade until it was already dark, which was part of the reason that Morthos was out there stumbling around. Which is just wonderful for me, by the way. I was giggling about that for days. So, as you guys start getting closer back to town, the town is a little lively. There are people here, which is definitely very different than how things were a day or so ago. And I'm not saying that there's suddenly thousands of people flooding the markets, but there's at least a couple people that are on the outskirts of town that are checking barricades, that are making accounts of people that have been missing or maybe that have come back. You're starting to see that activity. Waving torches and stuff as you were getting closer.
Yay, they came back.
Not a lot of people are really excited to talk to you. Like, you're just kind of a stranger that came out of the woods. So there is not a hero's welcome. We'll start with that. Which sort of answers Holden's question now that I read it. Instead, people are actually kind of looking at you like you just walked into their house uninvited. Like, nobody's really kicking you out, but they're giving you that look.
The stink eye.
Kinda, yeah.
Would I have gotten the chance to talk with anybody, like, in the town?
You know what? What a perfect transition. We're gonna, as those guys are starting to walk into the misty, mistrusting morning, let's go to the ship. The ship has been on high alert all night, right? Because that's how we left it. The ship was going to be on high alert, ready for if any monsters came back. Old Tom Mary had the guns loaded. Blinky was in the tops. Shirt guy was just kind of doing stuff, right? Like, he's kind of keeping the ship running. And, you know, secretly, Kozu is actually keeping the ship running. Nobody knows how, but he's definitely doing something to help.
My bad.
That's fine.
That was a misclick.
It's a weird humble brag that you know how to use shields. Because I feel like I do too. So Rayan, you get a good view of this. Also, actually, as morning is starting to come, like, nobody sleeps tonight, right? The threat of monster attack means, okay, at best, maybe we're going to take some naps and shifts. Except again, Kozu, who gets to sleep whenever he wants.
Oh, yeah.
So, right around the time that the sun, like, is starting to color the sky, you start to see that same shifting as well of, like, hey, it feels like there are slowly starting to be people here. Blinky calls out that he can hear something moving in the town, and about that time you guys start to see it. A couple torches here, maybe a few shifts of wood, some doors opening and closing. There's maybe a louder shout pretty close to the ship that it's weird that your topsman didn't see coming. A pretty loud, booming voice, considering how quiet the rest of the town is, shouts out, "And whose vessel is this?"
What was the captain's name again?
Jacob Grenner.
He's not even dead for a week yet.
This is the ship of Jacob Grenner, sir.
Blinky shouts out from the tops. Oh, it's the Emerald Dawn. You haven't heard of us? The booming voice says, "Permission to come aboard."
I turn around and I look at the other guys. Should we let him on board?
Shirt Guy is currently holding a gangplank.
Oh, well, okay. We're letting him on board then.
Yep. He throws it down, and that poor gangplank didn't see this coming. The man that steps aboard your boat is imposing. That's a nice, fairly respectable way to say that.
Like Kultiran big?
More.
Oh,
We'll go with more. Like-
William Howard Taft big.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go with like actually a few different larger U.S. presidents big.
like cartoony, round with with a little bulb for a head.
You know what? That is actually a pretty good way to describe this. At least as far as this man is draped in fineries. And I have to use the word draped because they don't necessarily come back in. It kind of ends up looking like a finery poncho.
Ooh.
But he definitely presents himself like he has worked hard on this, right? Full on wig, his facial hair is waxed. Maybe so are his eyebrows. Like, this dude's probably actually wearing makeup. And that gangplank struggles for just a second. But Shirt Guy keeps everybody afloat. And while the ship may rock for a few seconds after he steps aboard, he makes it. Not too much issue. He says, "Now, who gave you docking permission?"
Nobody, sir. I don't think so.
Mary, who definitely is here, and I just forgot to un-GM layer his token. He starts talking exceptionally fast, and as we've established, understanding him is a feat. He talks for about a minute, just constantly. Listen, we're going to here. We're talking about going to this, going to the mountain. We got the shrubs, the queen, and he just keeps going, and nobody really stops him. Even if the man aboard your ship might as well be trying to read a menu in French. Finally, he stops, content with himself, and Shirt Guy nods.
Ray also nods.
And you hear from the top, that sounds about right. It's like he says. And the man just says, You're speaking to Mayor Orzo of Cross's Rest. And as far as I can tell, there is no record in this city of this ship approaching dock. So I would like to know where you came from, why you are here.
Porta Maria, and my friends are actually coming down from the mountain. I didn't get a chance to go with them due to the dangers that were befalling your town. Actually, my friends and I have noted that there were beasts that were plaguing your fair town and slaughtered some of your people. And upon inspection of that, we followed the tracks out of town and came across a giant, like reptilian lizard feathered thing. To the best of my knowledge, I
About
came back with my friends, and uh, we were there was nobody in town. We looked in every building. There was not a sign of life anywhere.
Mayor Orso started squinting at you no more than halfway through that. Just a beady squint. He says, "That is ridiculous. The town is just fine, and it has been for years. Everyone is accounted for. Well, virtually everyone. Some like to get off into the woods. They tend not to come back, if you catch my meaning."
So, is that a threat, or would you like me to show you some proof of what I found?
Says, "There's no need for that."
Oh, well, I can show you if you would allow me to dock.
Says, "I think you've been docked plenty. Perhaps you should signal for your friends and be on your way."
Well then.
This seems like a great time for the quietest victory march ever to finally make their way to the boat. And I will say, rest of the party, you even hear him say that. He is not quiet at all. But hey, the gangplank's down.
As soon as we're on board, I would ask Rayun to catch us up on who his friend is and what's been going on.
Well, this man is the portmaster, if I'm not mistaken.
"I am the mayor of this town, and how dare you?"
Well, as far as I see, the portmaster is still one of the highest officials, at least to my knowledge. And if you are a mayor, then you should be taking more care of your home, especially because of all the raptor claws that I saw out there. And the dead bodies, too.
Our town is pristine. There has been no issue with any monster attacks. And I would kindly ask that you stop spreading that slander about Cross's Rest.
Where were you yesterday then? Eating the former mayor?
Got him.
I will not hear of such insults to my or my city's regalia. You will take your leave immediately.
I feel like we have things to talk about, but I don't know that we need to talk about them in front of this guy. Anybody have anything they need to say to the mayor, or should we just do as he asks?
Is there anything like peculiar about the houses and buildings we see? Are they like more pristine or?
No, this sounds almost exactly like you left it.
It's okay.
Can we just? I'd like to ask him what day of the week today is.
without going into the calendar that I've definitely developed and am not making it up on the spot, he gives you the date, and yeah, it's accurate to the date that you would expect it to be.
We docked here yesterday to an empty city. Where were you yesterday? No portmaster, no beautiful women, no finely dressed children playing in the square, no mayor to greet us warmly. Where was your town yesterday?
Yesterday, we were ensuring the safety of our great town and all of its citizens. Where do you think that we would be?
Well, not in your town, since we investigated it quite thoroughly and found evidence of no one save several dead bodies.
Such is the investigation skill of privateers. And don't give me that look. I know a privateer ship when I see it.
Mr. Mayor, have we done something to offend you? You seem like you don't want us here.
Well, at least someone has an eye for where this conversation is going, because yes, you have done something to offend, and yes, I do not want you here. Everything in my town is just fine, and we have no need for sellswords and brigands to come in bringing their villainy and harlotry.
So you said that he had like makeup on and all that stuff. Like, did it look like it was hastily put on, or like did it take hours?
Oh man, this looks like the sort of makeup that he has been doing maybe since you guys first arrived.
And, sir, does this town have an ambassador to Porta Maria?
We have no need for such constant oversight from the guild. I run this city just fine, and we haven't had any sort of long-term contact with the city-state in probably 3 or 4 years since the last culinarian decided that he was not good enough for this town.
Well, we certainly don't want to keep you any longer, and you can help us get on our way faster if you could answer a few questions for us.
If it will expedite your removal, then I suppose I am bound.
We're on a mission looking for a culinarian by the name of Antonio Razme. Are you familiar with him? Has anyone traveled through here aside from us who seemed out of place?
Erasme certainly hasn't been here. No, we don't get the fineries of Porta Maria cooking. Oh, but I haven't had Erasme's seen in ages. Oh! I must return. I must return to his kitchen sometime. But no, he has not been here, and if you suspect that he has absconded here when kidnapped, then I take insult to that.
No, we were just wondering if you had any information. We also happen to be searching for umberwelks. Do you have any information on where we might be able to find those?
Blasted things make caves up and down the coasts. If not for our astounding city guard, I would be worried that the umberwelks might be a problem to encroach on my fair city. However, of course, we train only the best, most fearsomely equipped warriors, and have no need to fear of the umberwelk threat.
Yes, you certainly seem to, based on how lovely your town is. Is there a nearby port that you might recommend that would help us access the Umber Whelks so that we don't have to stay here in your port any longer?
I suppose, yes. There is a cave nearby that some of my eagle-eyed scouts have spotted some umberwhelk slime. Something like an hour's sail from a rickety barge like this. Sailing due east. We ought to find the cave.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your assistance. Is there anything aside from our departure that we can do to repay you?
It sounds as if you've already done fair enough. I'm just waiting for one of you guys to say one of those out loud, but
I'm definitely saying this under my breath.
well, good news. This guy, I've already rolled insight once for him. He is definitely not hearing under breath conversations.
Perfect.
Good.
Excellent. Mayor Orzo, thank you so much. We will speedily retreat from your port, and I thank you for the hospitality that we've received during our stay.
Good riddance. Raise anchor. I have no need for your services.
Goodbye, Mr. Anchor.
Bye.
While he's not looking, I stick my tongue out at him.
Don't let the gangplank hit you.
He trudges off once again to the detriment of that poor gangplank. And Shirt Guy raises that gangplank immediately before letting out a heavy sigh.
All right, well, we got 0 information from him. I suggest we slowly start moving out of the port and discuss as a team that exciting little adventure.
Well,
Mary picks up on that, nods, and starts loudly gibbering, which somehow Blinky and Shirt Guy take to mean, hey, we're leaving, let's go. And the three of them actually start making a decent way of it. Getting the ship turned around, getting the anchor up, getting the sails down. Pretty much all of which Shirt Guy does. So, you guys slowly start to make your way out, with Shirt Guy rowing you out of the bay. And before too long, you are decently far enough away from the town.
Did they ever question where their captain was?
I mean, they haven't yet. They were kind of dealing with something.
Okay.
That being said, I mean, it's not too long before the ship is moving enough that we're going to have a conversation soon.
Tyrus, why don't you bring Rayun and the rest of the crew up to speed, and then we can discuss whether we would like to pick up Umberwhelks or proceed to the combustion pot in Noka Bay.
I bring them up to speed of what happened.
Oh, come on. You're going to pass up on doing that in character?
Tyrus, what happened? What happened out there?
Someone picking some mushrooms or something, and then somebody kind of nudging at
The
Ex-character.
absolute unit.
the absolute unit. Some absolute unit of a man made some noise, and Jacob's dead.
Oh no.
Hey, hold on.
Boy, maybe.
You hear from the top. So, what's it? Well, I'm pretty sure I heard that right. What did he say? Where's the captain?
Not here.
Oh, that sounds right. Yeah, we'll find him eventually. He always seems to pop up.
I hope so.
So you're saying he does this often? Just kind of yelling up at the crow's nest? Because he's up in the crow's nest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very rarely have you seen him not in the crow's nest.
That is true.
Have I seen him out of the crow's nest?
You know what? I'm gonna say probably no more than twice. And you've been sailing with him for what, a couple days.
So I've seen his legs.
Yes, he does have
Okay.
2 legs.
Good to know.
Not a
I didn't
peg
know
leg
that.
on this whole ship. In response to the question, he says, "Well, I mean, he likes to go on adventures here and there. Likes to see the world. Likes to get some soil in his feet. You know, that sort of thing."
Does he like flying?
Well, I can't say he's ever done that, but that seems like the sort of thing he'd like to do.
He might be doing it right now. Who knows?
I'm going to interject and gently tell her that this might not be one of those times.
That we'll have to get the story when we find him, huh? In the meantime, we're gonna need a bearing.
Give us a moment. Just steer us out of port. Perhaps this is their way. So let's talk about Umberwelks versus Noka Bay, and any other questions we have, like exactly how long it's been since that mayor's seen his dick.
He was
I'm gonna guess at least 15 years.
probably more than that with how the gangplank just kind of bent. You didn't see it bend, but I did.
So if the Umberwelks are close, that was one of our Culinarian Guild notice board missions, right?
Mhm.
If it's here and it's easy, it wasn't a lot of gold, but we have very little, so it could be worth stopping by to help out the Culinarians Guild since it's not really out of our way, and then after that we can head to Noka Bay. I know that time is kind of the essence, but I didn't get the sense that it was, by tomorrow urgent. Noka Bay far to the northeast of us, yes?
Mm-hmm.
I like that while we're here, just from an efficiency standpoint, but it looks like from Noka Bay, our plan was to go to Lick's ship. Okay, I see that. So that's kind of like a circle. And then to Mirror Bay.
Hold on, I'm gonna need another map for that one.
Okay. So it's possible that we wouldn't necessarily come back this way. I know it looks like it's close, but it's possible that we wouldn't necessarily swing back here if we know that we have a location for them.
On the bright side, we're getting really close to where my folks live. They live in a settlement just out of Satir.
Well, that is one of our last stops, so that's perfect.
If we need to, we can probably bunk there for the night.
So do we want to take a group vote? Or do we want to designate like a team leader to just
I think
decide
first
for
we
us?
need to make sure that the ship has a captain. If it's one of them or one of us, I think it's unlikely that a ship will be run effectively by democracy.
Are we voting another captain?
I don't know that we can as passengers on a ship.
Well, the question would be if Jacob, and I'm happy to pose this to his crew, if Jacob has a tendency to take off on adventures like this and show up at a later time, who usually is in charge of the ship during his absences?
It sounds like you asked that to somebody, but I didn't actually hear if that was the case or who.
Yes, that was my plan. Just to ask the crew who happens to be standing near us.
Well, it's everybody but Blinky, because, he's up in his own little world.
Okay. So old Tom, Mary, and Shirt Guy.
Mhm.
Okay. So what is their response?
The two of them kind of smile at each other, and they point you up towards the bow, right? Like pointing way up towards the bowsprit, which is pretty much just a bowsprit, right? It's a long piece of wood jutting out of the front, kind of pointy at the end. It might pierce a ship's hull if you ram something.
Who would ever ram a ship? That's stupid.
Right?
Or the smartest thing ever.
Unfortunately, one of our important talkers is mysteriously a crater. So Mary starts talking for a second, and nobody can understand it, except, Shirt Guy. He's been through this. After just like 5-10 seconds of this, Shirt Guy grabs old Tom Mary by the lapels, lifts him up by his vest, which it seems like Mary's used to, and forcibly sits Mary down on the bowsprit. Pointing back towards the rest of you, back to the sea. And the second Mary sits down, he stops talking, his mouth just frozen open.
If only we had known it was that easy.
Somebody, because you said it first, Holden, starts to say something after probably a good 10 seconds of quiet, but Shirt Guy holds up his hand and after another second looks over at Mary and just like flicks him on the forehead. That shift maybe is enough that Mary's eyes shine a bright green. Like blinding in this still pretty early morning. And very clearly, we have visitors. Hello. Welcome aboard.
Wait, Mary said that?
Yep.
Hello.
Might I ask where Captain Grenner is and where we are headed? Where are you taking me?
May I ask who you are?
They've called me the Emerald Dawn.
Oh.
She's working him like a puppet.
Don't ask where her hand is.
Ooh. Right in his soul. So you're the ship.
Pleasure to meet you, passenger.
Pleasure to meet you.
Now I must insist. Where is Captain Grenner? And where are you taking me?
Break it to her gently.
sadly to say, Captain Grenner is no longer with us.
That is unfortunate. Well then, in the meantime, I will need to borrow someone else.
Not it.
Borrow how?
Well, the ship needs a captain, and I need a voice.
Seems as though you have one.
Would you want to inhabit this thing?
Well, I mean, I am a bard, so voice is kind of my thing.
By all means. Take this man's place.
Are you sure that's wise?
Absolutely not.
Are you sure you should do it?
Well, we need the ship to get us where we're going. Unless one of you wants to be the mouthpiece for the Emerald Dawn. Which
I say we do a roll off.
totally okay with.
Sure.
Okay, are we rolling
Roll off.
d20s?
D20s,
High roll loses.
lowest roll loses.
Lowest roll loses.
I can't tell if lose means that you become the puppet or
Yeah,
not.
it does.
I lose.
No, low roll loses.
Oh, low roll loses? Okay.
All right, Holden.
I'm not sure I want that. And I'm not sure we should allow a lottery to decide who the voice of the ship is. We don't even know how this communication is possible. Have any of you ever spoken to a vessel before?
Just finished talking to one, yeah.
Well, Pyrus is not wrong.
The
Okay.
blind leading the dumb.
Then
So- Before
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, before we jump into anything, I wanted to ask the ship a question.
Sure, go for it.
So, Emerald Dawn, my question to you is, are you co-inhabiting or are you fully taking over the person?
Well, I am not a slaver ship. I am merely borrowing the voice.
Is this inhabitants temporary? Because we are not crewmen of this ship, and once our journey is complete, we'll be disembarking.
Of course. I prefer a captain whose voice I can borrow for quite some time, but I will take what is available.
What is lost in this exchange?
I don't understand your meaning. As far as I know, nothing is lost.
Well, if you were perfectly sentient and perfectly powerful, you wouldn't need to borrow a voice. I assume that comes at some measurable cost.
The cost is I am still just a ship, bound by timber and rope, locked to the whims of the sea and sky.
Were you always a ship?
Aye, since the day of my creation.
You remember being created.
I do.
How many captains have you selected?
If you would believe me, Jacob was my first, but not the only. I count 9 other captains.
Does this connection only function whilst you are on, whilst the voice is on the ship? What happens to your chosen voice when that person leaves your sails and timber?
You are still independent creatures. You are able to leave and go about your business. Our
But
bond is
does
not...
a connection maintain? Can you speak to or through that captain at any distance?
I can only speak to those who sit upon my bow.
I'm not opposed to doing this so that we can move forward. We will be dictating where the ship goes for the next while. I'm
I'd like
willing
to
to
make
take
an
the
Arcana
risk.
check
By all means.
to see if I can determine what
Uh,
maybe spell or at least school of magic is responsible for this.
I'm going to actually look at your character sheet now that you've rolled that die, but before I look at that result,
Sure.
I want to know... Does anybody have the skill that I'm looking for?
What is it?
What is
I'm going to look. Because if you don't, then I'm just going to ignore it.
I bet I don't.
You don't.
I knew it.
Let's start with that. I already looked. You don't.
I know.
And...
Do I have it?
Oh, is anyone proficient in religion?
No,
Is that what it is?
I don't think anybody has it, and that's fine. We tried. Now that I have confirmed that, I will look at chat, and I thought I was looking at that natural 20 for a second.
No.
No, Holden, whatever's happening here, this is incredibly unusual.
There's no well-known curses or any reason to assume this is some kind of magical entrapment.
There is nothing to support that, no.
All right.
Well, guess I'll sit on the bow then, since I
No.
lost the
You will not.
straw.
Let's do it by vote. I think it's important that we not let random chance decide this. We should be people of intention. Perhaps even involve the crew members who will be taking potentially orders from the voice of the ship through this person. Surely they have a preference as to whose voice they'd rather hear.
That's fair.
True.
And the captain's vacancy is going to leave literal boots to fill. They should be a part of that decision making. Should we get everybody on deck then for just a quick vote, either names in a hat or something to that effect?
Yeah, you can absolutely get everybody except Blinky, who is just seemingly refusing, but everybody else gathers up. I mean, which I guess was really just Kozu, because Shirt Guy and Mary were already here.
Mm-hmm.
Then ask Blinky who he'd like to see be the voice.
Blinky, who would you like for the voice?
As long as it's not me, I'm all right.
All right, that's a vote for everybody
Mhm.
except for Blinky. All right.
Do either Shirt Guy or Mary have any input?
Mary is still sitting blankly.
Oh, I guess that's true. He can't really vote because he is the voice. Well, let's unplug him, actually.
Sure. When you give that indication, Shirt Guy once again just grabs him by the lapels, this time one-handed, and yanks him to his feet. Almost immediately, the lights go out, and then, come back in the normal sense. Mary says, "Oh, no, I don't know where I was. Hey, it was like, how long?"
You were more articulate before.
And you were only gone for like a minute or so. I've spent a lot of time on the ship, okay? I understand him.
Mary, who would you like to see be the at least intermediate voice of the Emerald Dawn?
Yeah. Everybody's looking at him for a second, and he's, I don't think anybody just about it. They're talking about someone with a nice voice. Yeah. Usually someone that has a lot of personality, and like that, like kind of good person.
Fair enough. I heard some of those qualities mentioned that I'm certain I do not possess.
I guess I'd nominate myself if nobody objects.
It seems like everybody is nominating themselves. I'm asking for someone to
I nominate
look
Mira.
deeply and decide if they're honestly the best choice or they just want to be the captain. I'm too cold and critical. I think Tyrus is too brash and brazen. I think Rayun is too green.
I nominate Mira.
I think Morithos is too not here.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a problem for a sec.
Morthos seems to be in a trance at the moment.
The only person on board the ship who has been the voice of the ship said that they were looking for someone who can be empathetic, who has a easy to listen to voice. So far, the only qualifications for the job, I think, apply to only one of us. I don't care. You guys can go back to rolling if that's what you really want to decide, but I think Mira is the best bet for the voice if she's dead set on wanting to try to do it, which I staunchly oppose.
What do sailors use to clean their noses when they have a cold?
I don't know what.
I walk toward the bow of the ship, and just before I sit down, I yell, "Anchor chiefs!" And I sit down.
Wonderful. I don't actually have this authority, so instead I'm going to politely ask that you join me in spoiler space. Bye.
My way.
Should have asked what we see in that in this tab.
Sorry,
Oh.
I had to clear the stream for a second because I have Discord in a second tab and it would have messed up my screen.
But I was too dedicated to blinking out that the last thing I wanted to do was blink back and be like, "Is that all right?"
Yes, no, of course it is. I just had to
Yeah.
put up the Oh, I guess I
So-
probably also.
she was so quick I didn't even have time to make a she's dead joke.
Oh no.
It's okay.
She's
We said we
dead.
needed to re-roll some characters, so Mira's gone, and I'll just roll up a new one real quick. We're good.
Well, you're the guy now,
Oh, no.
right?
I didn't think these transformations were going to be so fast, but here we are.
So thanks, guys, for all those ideas.
Mm-hmm.
No, everything seems to be fine. I'd like to go ahead and finalize our travel plans now that we have that settled, so that we can get the Emerald Dawn to take us where we would like to be.
As the ship and Mira were having their mind conversation, what did we see out here?
You saw roughly the same thing that you saw with Mary, of Mira's eyes became two bright green beacons in this dark night. But otherwise, she just sat still, hands on her lap, like maybe she was being read a story or something. And that went on for, I should probably mention the time. It probably went on for about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Holden, are we good?
Yes. As long as you are.
I am. All right, crew. So, Underwelks or off to Noka Bay?
I think Underwilk's while we're here, right? We decided it's just a little hour or two out of our way, and then we can be on to Noka. Hopefully the Underwilks don't put up too much of a fight.
Let's do it.
I like that.
Sounds good to me.
All right. As you guys, you clap your hands together and shout break, you see that Shirt Guy was popping up from below deck and was carrying by the scruff of his neck again Kozu. And Shirt Guy looks at the bowsprit and looks down at Kozu, shrugs, and puts Kozu back down on deck before going back to below.
How long are we going to keep this thing?
This thing.
I said what I said.
You will have to ask Morthos.
Hey, oh.
Nope, still in a trance.
Kozu briefly looks around as well. He said I was going to be a beacon.
Yeah.
Perhaps you heard bacon?
Well, I don't want to be bacon. Can I be baking? Do we have an oven?
Well, not on the ship.
Okay, well, we get to port. I'll be baking.
That sounds wonderful.
In the interim, try to find something useful to do and be slightly less underfoot.
You can probably sit on Morthos, because he's in a trance and he doesn't know.
Actually, can I give him a job? I can, because I'm the captain. Captain says that she would like Kozu to separate the smushed turnips from the good turnips so that they don't rot during our travels and impact the good produce that we were able to save, because you said that some of it was a little So
Yeah.
it'd probably be a good idea to have him. That would be a very good project for him to just get anything that looks mushy or damaged or likely to get ruined and put that in a separate area, a separate container, than the bushel of good ones.
I'd love to. I'll throw the bad ones off the ship.
No,
I'll throw
let's
the
not
bad
do
ones at the
that.
birds.
We might be able to eat them, or you can maybe bake something with them when we get to port. Let's
Oh,
hold
but
off
if
on
I hit the
destroying
birds, we can eat the birds.
Cap- Captain,
We could eat the birds.
may I assist?
Yes, please.
Okay.
As the
Alright.
two of you go down below deck, he is very excited and I'm going to be so good at this. My mom always said you have to keep them separated.
Well, yes, keep them separated, but don't throw any of them out. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'll put 2 bags.
Okay. Can I throw one into the bag?
You can throw the squished ones into the bag.
Throw the birds into the bag.
Probably not.
Hmm.
Just separate the turnips. Let's focus on that, and then we'll focus on the next part.
All right. Okay. Why don't you give me a quick nature check? I want to make sure that you can handle these turnips pretty well. And then otherwise, I will move the ship and we can move to the next scene.
Just a normal roll.
Yep. With, probably intelligence. It might be wisdom, whatever that skill has.
Intelligence. Yes.
Nailed it. Well, good news. That was not a very high TN.
Okay.
Which is good news because that was not a very high roll. Glad we got that taken care of.
Yep.
The two of you maybe have to do a little bit of futzing and trying to find where the good ones are. But otherwise, while we are here on the Porta Maria map, I will move us appropriately from Cross's Rest to unnamed cave, not too far outside of Cross's Rest.
Woo!
Woohoo.
Do we have, because I didn't take any culinary feats, the quest is for at least 5 pounds of umberwelk meat.
Mhm.
Does anyone have, because Jacob did the collecting for us before, does anybody have any skills that would support that? Being able to process it?
I will say, much like with tracking, harvesting is going to be mostly based on what you're harvesting with, or what kind of creature you're harvesting. There it is.
Okay.
So if you're harvesting, say, a wolf, there's no way that's not a nature check, right?
Mm-hmm.
Compared to if you're harvesting, I don't know, a demon heart. It's probably going to be like religion.
Okay.
So, similar as before, I will probably ask for a skill, and we'll see who's got what.
Perfect.
All right. I don't have a great introduction for this, because I'm going to be honest, you didn't get a lot of information going into this. So, your search eventually ends up being just sailing with virtually no sail down, and shirt guy oaring. Oh, wonderful. So that you can pretty carefully scour the coast. But eventually, hey, there's definitely a cave. It's right on the water, so it's difficult to get to, and you can see why maybe people don't often explore this thing. But you are tipped off by what Mayor Orso told you about the telltale umberwelk slime, which is just all over the place. Like the entire floor, some of the walls, coated in a red and black goo.
Well, gross.
Mhm.
What do we know about umberwelks? Does anyone have anything we could roll to try to learn about them before we disembark so that we know what we need to take with us?
Barring someone who would know stuff about Umberwelks, it would probably be a nature check.
May I make a nature check?
Absolutely.
I didn't ask. I just made one. Sorry.
Heck yeah. Ask for forgiveness.
Oh, it just keeps getting lower.
Mhm, mhm.
All right, Holden, what do you
Oh.
know about Umberwelks?
So I am also going to add there, now that you have made your rolls and sealed your fate forever, you do also have the tome for. Oh, nope, that's the wrong character. You do have Kraven Tantos's tome. If you would like to ask questions and don't mind waiting a little bit. In this case, you don't have to, because Holden rolled pretty darn well.
They're fucking sea snails.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
I mean, this is. I'm going to be honest. At least you and Rayun both think for just a second about that name and think, well, okay, Umber means dark. Whelk is a type of sea snail. So it's probably some kind of dark sea snail. Yeah, that makes sense. And if I'm looking for 5 pounds of meat, they're probably way bigger than 5 pounds. Holden, your roll, as usual, is frustratingly good. So I'm going to go so far as to say you've heard stories about this, and naturally, of course, these are the stories that people tell when they are trying to impress people around the campfire. So who knows how much of this is actually true. But the way this was described to you was the man who fought an Umberwelk off was extremely disappointed at how quickly that goo dissolved his boots and most of his armor, and also was very thankful that he had a spear because he did not want to actually get close to these things.
Engage rust monster protocols.
Mm-hmm.
So you send Morthos into the cave first.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
All right. So, I'm going to tell you right now, there's like a 30% chance that what I'm about to do doesn't work, and I get really bummed.
Okay. Good luck.
Is this a transition?
This has been a lot of me testing new things and trying to be better as a player and a GM. So we're going to go to a map, and it's definitely going to have active fog of war. Gosh dang it.
Ooh.
He says, keeping his fingers crossed. Ah!
It does.
Yay!
Yeah.
Whoa!
Awesome, we did it.
Impressive.
Look, I feel like every time I use any new trick in this program, I am just the smartest person on the planet.
That's
So,
amazing. Well done, Zell.
So, you guys get into this cave. It is leading right from the sea, right? Like, you enter from this opening, and you could still see your ship from here. I have definitely decided that Morthos is currently outside observing slime, because that's funny.
He's making sure Kozu doesn't throw the bad turnips at the birds.
Heck yeah. What a great way to temporarily get rid of a character is he's on babysitting duty.
But honestly, if anyone wanted to eat some birds, it's probably Morthos.
Probably.
Probably.
So,
Or his hand.
Oh,
or his
God.
hand.
Oh, now I'm picturing him feeding his hand a live bird.
Me too.
Ugh, just not thinking
It's a
anything of it.
seagull.
Just yeah. All right. So the cave as you enter is coated in slime. It is primarily a dark brownish black slime. It's sticky enough that you guys can keep your footing, but not so sticky that like you're gonna lose your boots in a couple seconds.
Does the slime have any like desirable properties to it?
That seems like something that you could make a check for, and I'm going to look at your character sheet, because one day I'll have all of these skills memorized, but that is not today.
I mean, I can. I've got horrible nature, but
I was going to say make a medicine check,
oh, okay.
which I see you also don't have a great one, but, I like when people roll dice.
I like rolling dice. That works out.
Yeah, nothing that you know of, but honestly, there seems like there's a market for just about any limbs or bones or hides or secretions. Like, you're pretty confident if you got a big enough jar of this stuff and you got back to Porto Maria, somebody would give you some gold for it.
I bet it makes a really good glue.
I know it's kind of weird, but I don't want to come back, so let's get it while we're here.
Okay, you know what? By all means, you go ahead and take yourself maybe a water skin full of umber whelk slime. Unless you would like to grab more in Holden's bag of holding.
Nope.
Fill it up. Just fill the whole thing up.
Yep, just like run it on the ground and see how much you could scoop up.
Yes.
All right.
Oh,
I've added it to my inventory.
There will be legit PvP, and because we're on a boat, I'll have to go to anchor management.
God. I'm picturing like the janitorial staff from an episode of Double Dare.
That's exactly what I'm picturing.
Jeez.
Okay. Well, at least we have it now in case there is a need for it. I don't
Yep.
want to come back here.
That's fair. There is not much light in here, but there is more light coming from the south, where the cave leads. And that is currently the only direction this cave leads. It definitely looks like it might lead somewhere to the west, but it's caved in, because I didn't want to use that room.
Nice. Did we decide last time, Tyrus, that you make a good lead/vanguard and
Sure.
Okay.
I
I couldn't remember
Did
if you had
I-
good perception or not.
have decent perception,
I thought
but
it was
did I make a health check, reroll, sleep check? Nap
You
check.
would definitely have had time to make a short rest.
Okay. Which
You were only
is-
sailing for like an hour and a half, but short
Okay.
rest is enough that you can spend some of your healing dice.
Nice. Take it.
Yeah, that seems pretty good.
Good enough. Cool. All right. Are we going to? Am I just gonna start going, or are we gonna roll like turn order, or how we want to do this?
Yeah, by all means, show me your formation and get ready to roll some dice. I just like plopped you on the map because I don't know.
Here.
I want to be behind Holden. Because I like the view.
I like that Tyrus placed himself at the exit.
Peace out.
See ya.
Would it be
I'll go right here.
better to for me to be behind Tyrus?
Well,
Because you like
Uh,
the view.
I mean, who
yeah,
doesn't?
sure. Putting words
Well
in my
done,
mouth.
That's not all. You play your cards right.
I'm telling.
The path is definitely only like one person comfortably wide, so you're either going behind or in front.
Then I'll just follow behind Tyrus then.
All right. So I will definitely use this fog of war tool that I didn't learn how to use 6 weeks ago when I made this map. Oh gosh, rain's going off the rails. Give me just a sec.
I just wanted to see what it would do. Sorry.
You go off into the darkness.
Oh
I
man, I don't have magic missile.
sorry, I need to check one quick
Oh yeah, also I
thing.
don't have dark vision.
This is true.
I do. Should I go first?
Man, I'm really shitty. I don't have any dark vision.
Honestly, that would probably be good.
I have a torch though. I'll just use a torch.
Oh, this tool will be neat. Hey! I think that did what I wanted it to. It revealed a cave. I hope.
It
Yep.
did. Yep.
Yes! Alright, 2 for 2. Not screwing things up.
It's
Uh,
kinda like a Sasquatch foot mold.
Actually, yeah. So, as you guys enter, I'm going to have you make perception checks. Which I hope you saw coming, because I love a good perception check.
Oh,
Woof.
Man, I can't roll at
Whoa.
all. This character sucks.
y'all know what I'm staring at.
How old is Holden?
Runes, but
So, this cave is honestly pretty desolate. It is mostly more goo and a small path leading deeper into the cave to the east. Whoa, sometimes I forget my easts and wests. But otherwise, it's kind of pristine. There's not hardly anything in here.
No excess slime.
Well, there is plenty of slime.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, there is almost nothing in here. There is no shortage of slime.
Tyrus, what do you
kind-
see?
what do my non-elf eyes and normal human eyes with my torch see?
Honestly, you see some stalactites
Nice.
and some slime
Okay.
and
Any
cave wall.
stalagmites?
No.
Okay. Good. Fuck this thing.
Well, there's a couple, but
Ah.
like, there's one over here.
I want to kick it over.
Wonderful. I'm going to assume as people have made those checks, they have started to make their way into the cave. And Mira, as you walk into the cave, 2 things happen simultaneously. The first is that you spot some of those stalactites that are definitely not stalactites, but are definitely large snail shells.
Mm.
Ooh.
And the second thing that happens is those stalactites that are definitely snail shells come crashing down around you and become things that want to eat you.
Ah!
Gosh dang it.
Gross, gross, gross.
And I'm going to have you guys roll initiatives.
Dang, I was going to say I wanted to ready an action to dodge a stalagmite.
That would have actually... I probably would have given that to you if you'd said it, because that would have been so on point.
Was
The
gonna
second
say
time
because
you
we're
failed in a
cave.
campaign. Yep.
Should have
So
done it. Oh
initiative
well.
roll.
Okay, so
Turn tracker's not open.
I need to remember how to open the turn tracker. There it is. Great. I'm gonna have this thing figured out by the time we're done.
I
Let's.
forgot that you have to click on your thing. Do
You
I?
can manually add yourself and then manipulate your initiative number. Just right click on your token and select add turn.
Just right click?
Nope, that's a command. There we go.
Oh, maybe that's only GMs.
Yeah, I think that's just a GM thing.
It's fine. I can take care of it. Let's see. Rayun had not a 4. That's a previous roll.
Actually, well, I mean, if you want me to roll again.
I don't. Oh, you do.
Force
It was the
initiative.
4.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
the 4.
I saw the breath and I was like, oh, he's doing a breath thing. Wait, what? Let's see. Then. Been a little while since we've had one of these combats, so I have to remember how things work. But good news, I remembered I can double click on that name bar and I don't automatically close everything. And that is the best. Alright, well, good news. Except for Rayun, everybody's going to react pretty well to this. So, surprise! We got some snails. Holden, what are you going to do about that?
I'm gonna order. Can Glitch sneak past Mira? Using the squeeze rules or no?
I don't know the squeeze rules, but I'm always a bigger fan of you can walk through friendly spaces, as long as you don't end your turn there.
I accept this. I'll move Glitch there and have him force empower Rend. Does an 18 hit?
Dang, that is quite a roll. Yes. It sure does. For 5 damage. Okay. Can you guys see these health bars?
Yes.
You can.
Nailing it. Guys, I am the best GM.
You're doing pretty great.
Then because I can't, I don't want to withdraw because I block the doorway
mhm.
and I don't want to provoke the attack. I'm gonna just cast Shocking Grasp, I think.
Before you do, I'm going to interject.
Please.
The second this thing gets hit, it immediately retracts into its shell. Like just all the way in. And now there is just a shell sitting there. Which might make it a bit harder to damage with weapons. Change my mind, I'm just going to link the ability because that's dumb.
They gain a +5 AC.
But I also like giving you the flavorful description too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am nothing if not flavorful.
Do we play with friendly fire?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I should. That's not my question to answer.
I mean, look, if you dropped a fireball right here, you're definitely hitting at least 6 targets.
No, I was thinking thunder wave, but it emanates from me, so it would hit everybody in front of me too.
It sure would.
Yeah, I won't do that.
Huh.
Okay.
But it is still Holden's turn. That was just a reaction.
I'm gonna move back and see if it attacks.
It does not.
Cool. Then I'm gonna use my crossbow against it.
Okay. Well, there's only so much that a shell can do if you're using effectively armor-piercing rounds. Yeah, in the form of heavy crossbow bolts. So that is going to chip away a pretty substantial amount of health. And we're going to ignore the video I was just watching the other day of a crossbow bolt hitting a breastplate and bouncing off like nothing.
Mhm.
Uh,
I'll end there.
sounds good. Let's see. That makes it Mira's turn.
Sorry. Can I shoot around friendly targets? Like if I want to shoot with my short bow, assuming I don't roll a 1, would I be able to hit this one? Because I'm guessing I not line of sight to this one. Like I can't see it because of this
That is
outcropping.
fair.
But I should be able to see this one.
I am actually going to defer to try because I don't think there's anything for shooting through allies.
So technically, there's cover. The creature here has cover because the line of effect that you would draw between it and her passes through a body that's as large or larger than the target.
Okay.
Which would be partial cover, a +2 to AC. Many GMs hand wave that because it gets very complicated and encourages people to use their teammates as body shields because the reverse would be true.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tend to just hand wave it away and say, if you're skilled enough to be a ranged weapon fighter, then you know how to shoot around a friendly.
Yeah.
But it's up to you. Like the rules as written say that character, that snail, would have a +2 to its AC for partial cover.
Yeah, well, rules as written don't give me anything for thirsting on Dragonborn ladies, so I'm much bigger fan of Mira can hold her bow for an extra second and wait for that opening. So by all means, go ahead and take that shot.
Okay. You know what? Instead, I think I'm going to cast Fairy Fire here. Oops, hold on. So it hits these two, but doesn't hit Tyrus. It's got a 20-foot. It creates a 20-foot cube.
Ooh, 20-foot cube is huge. I'm assuming that's 20-foot. Oh, it is 20-foot cube. Okay. So, yeah, that's doable. I was thinking 20-foot radius. I was like, geez.
No. that should work, right? I should be able to cast it in between the two, and it should
sure.
hit them both. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that because that will.
Oh, look at that. Huh.
Help with the whole dim light situation and give you guys advantage.
That makes sense.
That seems like a helpful thing that I can do.
Give me just a sec while I address something that was just pointed out. They're not actually disappearing. I am doing some creative last-minute freaking out.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Don't know how to fix that one.
If from that bar value, just instead of it displaying HP, select none, and then just set their values to maximum value out of maximum possible value, and then subtract from the first one the damage that was already dealt. Then they'll each have their own independent HP.
Interesting.
If you hard copy the value hit point, then all the same tokens that are a copy of that will add or subtract hit points whenever one of them takes damage or healing.
Look at that. I'm definitely going to have to get used to that. He says about a lot of things in here.
Sorry, I didn't want our combat to be even easier.
Give me
Effectively
just a
killing all
second,
three of my-
everyone. But that, yes, I will work on that. All right, sorry about that. There's some scheduling going on because my week is bonkers. So, yes, you can absolutely cast your Fairy Fire. I feel like there was another part that I needed to keep track of, and I just got lost in the sauce of health bars. But I could give these guys some sweet markers to show that they're fairy fired. Let's go with.
They get
Well,
a
that's two.
deck save, technically.
Oh, they do get a deck save. Well, that's funny.
I don't know how dexterous Umber Whelks could possibly be, but
Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, those are deck saves for you. So, back to finding a good picture. Let's go with this one that kind of looks like a meteor.
yeah, buddy.
Chemical Bolt, it's called. So yeah, it looks like attack rolls against these two will have advantage. For the duration. So as long as you keep the concentration up. Dang. Okay. Anything else you'd like to do?
Nope, I am done. Thank you.
Wonderful. And then I'm going to move to Tyrus.
So is he still out of his shell, or
Yep.
getting hit from the spell? Is he okay? Then I'll pull out my great axe and try to chop its head off.
I'm for it.
Oh, sorry. Advantage.
I'm going to have you roll a second time because you have advantage, yeah.
Wonderful.
I was hoping for the natural 20, but you hit.
Nice.
Roll some damage.
Oh boy. Terrible.
Well, no
All my
fudging
rolls
that.
suck.
For what it's worth, you hit.
Best DM exclamation ever. There's no fudging that.
Look, I have run previous campaigns where I rolled all the dice just on my desk, and I fudge things all the time, but sometimes you roll a campaign where everybody can see all the dice, so I can't cheat for your guys' sake.
Yep.
Oh, actually, I do have. I can mark that they are in their snail shells.
Nice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Perfect.
And then I will move over here.
Sounds good. Hey, once again, no attacks of opportunity because
Sweet.
they're just kind of hanging out in home. Man, it sure is a shame about that one you rolled, though.
I know, right?
So I'm going to move to the first algae hull's turn, which is this one. I don't need to do that. So the algae hull, in case you guys didn't know where all of this slime was coming from, the algae hull is going to enlighten you. Going to teach you where the slime comes from. Spoiler, it's coming from the algae hull.
Gross.
As the thing just erupts out of its shell with a slime burst. Every target within 10 feet, which is everybody but Mira, will need to make a dex save.
Oh,
Okay.
Not doing
And can I get one for glitch as well? Dang. That cat. Well, so that's pretty straightforward that everybody except for Holden either sees this coming or just knows to avoid explosions as this thing spews out spines of goo. And if you think to yourself, why on earth does a spine made of goo hurt? Shut up. Ask Holden why he took 5 damage.
I heard it's because
Fine,
he was
made of
talking too
booger.
much.
However, In doing so, in erupting goo from its shell, it also erupts from its shell. So, it is now visible to Rayun.
Oh boy. Oh, it's my turn. Whoops. I forgot that was a attack that it does.
Hey, Rayu, that's me.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and attack with my long sword on the algae hull in front of me.
All right. I see no reason
Actually-
that this won't go at least better than Tyrus.
Yeah.
If I move here, do I have advantage on my attacks?
This edition does not have any flanking rules, which is kind of great and also kind of a bummer because I liked flanking.
Okay. Then I'll just stay where I'm at.
But you would have advantage on your attack against the one below it. Yeah, it's in shell, so it's harder to hit, but you get 2 rolls because of the fairy fire.
Right. I'll just stick to this one since it's out now.
Mm-hmm.
I will go ahead. Oh,
Dang!
As soon as it comes out, I swing.
This man needs no advantage.
A 9 plus 5.
Okay. Well, you have carved a great chunk of flesh out of this snail's protruding bits. You're gonna have to clean that sword, but in the meantime, it's not looking so hot, and you will definitely have plenty of algae hull.
With the slice that I did, would it have would the goo on the sword be able to just slide off, or do I have to...
yeah. I mean, so much so that, especially considering he's already got some goo on him, you probably splattered Holden with some as part of your swing.
Oh no. Sorry, Holden.
This is dry clean only.
Oh boy. We'll get that steamed for you.
Yeah, right now it's already wet mess. And yes, I have definitely almost said algae hole many times.
Yeah. Figured that joke was coming when you're like, guess where the algae comes from? I know, I don't want.
Yeah. Anything else, Rayun?
I guess technically, you know what? No, I'm gonna stay here.
Okay. Let's see. So we will move to the furthest algae hole. It is not in the mood to explode. So instead, it's going to slither? Slide? Creep?
Crawl.
Let's go. Let's go with creep. He's gonna make his way over towards Tyrus.
Ooh.
Infamous line holder. And is gonna try and get some proboscis on you. A good old tentacle swipe. That's probably not gonna hit your AC.
I mean, technically he was in the fairy fire, so that thing probably gets advantage, right? I'm kidding.
He is out, but I do really want that. But no,
For
I'm
comedic
pretty
effect,
confident.
you should roll again.
Just feel like when I feel like there's a chance for one of my party members to get proboscised.
All right, look, the group said it. Tyrus, what's your AC?
16.
We're going with it because it's funny.
Yeah.
You got
Proboscis.
tentacle swiped by an a-hole.
You sure did.
Hole.
Just want to point out that if I do get killed by a snail, I'm legally allowed to make an elf without any discrimination.
No, I don't think that's how that works.
I think that's how it works.
I think that's how it works, yeah.
Uh,
It's called the pity rule.
so you're gonna take 5, and
Okay.
I'm also going to add that you have 1 stack of goop.
1 stack of goop.
Time to put that in my inventory.
I'm certain you're not going to want it.
You do not want goop.
Uh,
Thanks, Gwyneth.
Yeah, seriously. You put one egg up your vagina.
I also have it marked on your token. There's a 3rd line that's health, AC, and then a blue circle, and I've just got goop stacks in there right now.
Goop stacks.
As you can see from the attack description, these attacks are going to start dealing additional damage as you stack the goop.
Eee.
Algae Hole number 0, as we move to the last initiative, is in his shell over here. And so he's going to Slime Burst. All players within 10 feet is not holding this time, so it's just Rayun and Tyrus. If you wouldn't mind giving me dex checks. Dex saves.
Oh.
Well, Tyrus, you've already tasted the goop once. That might be enough. Rayun, however, weirdly, this attack doesn't give goop. It just deals 2d4 damage.
Seems like it should give goop.
You would think so.
And it's a 5.
And it's a 5. Beautifully average. And the algae hole is once again revealed. Dang, I went so long without accidentally closing that algae hole journal entry. Okay. It's also going to creep closer to Rayun because it's funny. And I want to use the word creep.
It's a weirdo.
Progress.
Yes. They progress.
They slide.
Okay. No, hey, he found the official term. We're going with progress. We've all learned something. Good job, us.
That's what the internet told me.
Yep.
But, I mean, who knows? Internet might be wrong.
It's like a load bar.
So, we're back to the top of the turn. Holden.
Oh boy. I think I'll fire the crossbow at the wounded Umberwelk that's closest to me. That's
Mhm.
adjacent. I don't think that's going to work.
I don't think that's going to work either.
I don't think that's going to work.
No.
Pet attack against the same target.
Pet attack works. Pet attack does literally exactly what needed to happen to let me delete this amber hole.
Nice. I'm going to take Glitch and move him into position
Algae.
next to Rayun for bite support.
Good job,
Alright.
Glitch.
I'm like one more bad turn away from being Glitch's pet.
You're just going to transfer your consciousness to Glitch.
Nope, I couldn't quite make that joke fast enough, and that's for your benefit. So we're going to move on. Mira.
All right, I am going to cast Healing Word on Tyrus.
Mhm.
Hey, he gets 7
That's
hit
a
points
good
back.
healing word.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
All right, and you still have an action.
Oh, I'm happy where I'm at. I don't get hit by any of the goop.
That's true. I'm saying you still
I have a
can
body shield.
you can shoot a bow or something. That is
Okay.
healing word is a bonus action.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was like an actual thing.
As a previous cleric, I use that a lot.
Are these guys out of their shells? Yes, I don't see the shell icon.
Yep.
Okay, and I can shoot.
Yes, they're very comfortable with us.
So I'm gonna I'm gonna shoot this one right here.
All right. That seems good. Why don't you roll me some damage?
And
Dang.
I'm going to
heck?
add a 1d6 through sneak attack.
You sure are.
So
Also, real quick, you do have advantage, I believe.
Mm,
That is true.
You've
That's
not
very
rolled
fair.
damage, Meg. You've rolled 2 attacks.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
So, hey, there's your advantage.
I
Cool.
hit the damage type button. Oh, I'm
Put 'em-
supposed to hit it underneath. Sorry. Okay, so this one.
I was just looking
It's
at
still
that
12.
16 going, or that 12. Thinking, dang.
9, 10, 11, 12.
It's impossible with a short bow.
It's 11.
It could have been 15.
11's still pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll take it.
You definitely, once again, cause that Algiel to retreat back into his shield. But we'll see if that means anything. Except that it is home. Tyrus.
how big are these snails?
Probably 4.5 feet tall.
Okay, so really big.
Yep.
So kicking it like a football probably would break my foot.
I mean, it would definitely at least really hurt.
Okay. I'm going to chop at it again. This one right here.
Okay.
Chop this one that's near me with the axe.
Bold.
Dang.
But it's not daring.
Let's do a second wind on that and try again.
Action surge?
Yeah, action surge. That's the one.
I was just willing to believe that he was going to do something again.
I'm just gonna do it again.
I like it.
Perfect.
Oh,
Worth
crit.
And gonna do some damage.
better than last time.
Pretty good.
Okay. Well, where last time you just kind of hit the thing with a stiff breeze, this time around, you have definitely made an impression in its face with your axe.
Nice.
Big old chunk of that health bar goes missing. Dang, look at that health bar that's missing.
And then I'm gonna move here.
All right. I almost had you provoke an attack of opportunity, except I remembered before you would move, he slurps back into his shell.
Good.
Boy, I've used the word schlorp more in this session
Schlorp.
than in the
I mean-
last at least couple weeks.
If you use it at least once ever, that's more than I've ever used it.
That doesn't come up at work a lot.
Not too often. That means something bad's on the food table. Let's see. Well, we killed the algae hole that I was expecting to act, so instead I'm going to have Rayun go.
Alrighty then.
You have 2 algae holes, glistening in green shell and brown slime, and neither of them are out of their shells.
Real quick,
Please.
I just realized I forgot to do advantage. So could I just count that as my advantage instead of using action surge?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You still have your action surge,
Sweet.
and you used advantage instead. I'm for it.
And
Thank you.
both of these have fairy fire on them, right?
That's where the advantage comes from.
Okay. Well, then I'm rolling with advantage.
Oh,
Ugh.
well, the bummer is you didn't even hit the non-shell AC, so I'm gonna blame it on the dark, right? Like, we got a couple torches out here, but there's combat going on. They might have been snuffed. You literally just whiffed an inanimate object.
Ugh.
But don't worry, Probably nobody saw that.
Well,
I have dark vision. I saw it.
Uh-oh.
then this one's for you, Holden. I use Action Surge.
Yay!
Nice.
This one's for all the marbles. If I miss, this is Holden's
I
fault.
hope it's another nat 20.
Whoa.
Damn
Oh,
close.
close.
Dang.
By the power of Holden.
It's like my daddy always says, they ain't natural, but they huge. It's a lot. My dad's not nearly that cool. But 8 damage is pretty cool.
I feel like that someone from Arkansas would say that, though.
My dad has said many other horrible things, but I definitely made that on the spot.
Dang.
Oh, boy.
My dad once called me and then sent me a picture saying, "Hey, is this your mom that I found on one of those random here's my girlfriend naked websites?"
Oh my god.
Gross.
Ah.
And he just sent the picture, so it's not like I could click the link or not. So mercifully, no, of course it was not my mom. But I was like, Dad, what would have happened if it was?
Gross.
Your dad probably would have gotten along really well with John's dad.
Oh my god.
So that's my childhood. Let's talk about some giant snails for a second. Turns out, this poor algae hole down here to the south is all alone and sad. So he's just going to pop out of his shell and isn't even going to slurp his way over to anybody. Instead, he's going to reach out longingly for the loving touch of his friend. Tyrus, get tentacled. Dang, what a tentacle.
Gosh dang.
Whoa.
That definitely connects and is going to deal 4 damage,
Plus
give
one
you a
goop.
second stack of goop, and then deal an additional 1 damage.
Foob, you got 2 lady chickens over there in the middle of a stalemate? Because it started to look like hentai.
Oh dear. That's one that got better the more I thought about it.
Definitely
Okay.
left me speechless.
We're doing it live.
Whew. We are also going to go to the second algae hull, who unfortunately is retired. So first, I'm going to roll his recharge on Slime Burst.
Oh, that's potentially bad.
That is not
Oh.
potential bad. That is bad
That is bad.
for you. Because he's gonna Slime Burst. Heck yeah, let's do it. Keep this love train going. Blam! I will ask for deck saves from everybody except for Holden and Mira.
Ah, there it is.
A cat is fine too. All right. That will be 6 whole damage as gooey spikes get all up under the armor plating of our beloved Steel Defender Glitch.
Oh, gross. Someone's gonna have to wash him now.
That's why you get cats, is they wash themselves. That sucks.
This one's broken. Time to make a new one.
Oh. Let's go to Holden.
I'm gonna shoot at the one farthest to the south, with advantage.
Well, I'm not sure which one you want to use, but 1 or 2 of those attacks will definitely hit for a devastating amount of damage. You were shooting the bottom one, correct?
Yep.
Okay. He is at the almost dead status.
Blinking red. I like it.
Yep.
And then I'll have Glitch attack the one in front of Sev.
Wonderful. Because he's out of his shell, a 14 does connect for almost lethal damage. Let's pop that number there, and let's just jimmy these guys back into their shells. It was ridiculous. Why would you ever leave your home? It's the last 2 years taught me.
I am done.
Wonderful. What an effective turn. Mira.
I would like to delay action to the end of the turn order so that I can't, because I can't crossbow shells. That's not going to work. Or short bow shells. So
That is very respectable.
I would like to attack, but I will wait until they come back out of their shells.
Okay. Then let's go to Tyrus.
Let's pull out the rifle and shoot my friend in the face through his
man.
shell.
Sorry, Morthos.
It missed.
It sure did.
Bounced right off.
Nope. That's bad enough. That hit the ground.
Did you do that with advantage?
You definitely should
didn't.
roll with advantage.
You're welcome.
2 criticals in 2 turns, is that right?
Thanks.
Oh, wonderful.
Let's do some damage, I guess.
Please. Well,
Pretty good.
the best part of that is it was in its shell. It was protected by a thick layer of stone and carapace, which has served it for most of its life. And then you just shot right through it, probably shattered a good chunk of it. And that
I shot
algae
through its
hole
heart.
is. Oh.
And I'm to blame.
Retreated into my bomb shelter, completely safe, where nothing.
And I
can
gave
reach me,
Love
stood in the background.
a bad name.
762 full metal jacket.
Both of those things made me smile. Thank you both. All right. Rayun, can you bring us home? 3
Let's-
HP in a dream.
All right, here we go.
Don't give me an opportunity to put out more goop.
It's still with advantage because fairy fire, right?
Yup.
There it is.
Gosh dang.
There it is.
That fairy fire has done some fantastic work.
Yeah.
Thank you very
And
much.
let's be fair, so has Rayun. What a fantastic front line and back line that we have here. I'm proud of all of you. Even the algae hulls, they were magnificent.
They were.
They were great a-holes.
And thankfully, you
Oh.
bring your sword down one last time. After, we'll say, maybe having given the shell a gentle kick, so that you can actually hit the gooey bits on the inside. And we reach the end of combat with, once again, a fairly quiet, gooey cave. Oh, I'm proud of all of you.
All right. Can we drag, just since I'm guessing there's probably more stalactites, can we drag the corpses out into the sunny area so that we don't get ambushed again? And then we can discuss harvesting the meat and whether or not we should take an empty shell with us.
Exploring the cave.
So, couple things to note. These are all good discussions to have. First off, I'm proud of you for thinking of harvesting first, because that's important. One thing that Jacob imparted on you is the time frame for harvesting is tremendously short. To get things that you can actually use, probably only like 5 minutes. So you can probably, I will say, you have no problem dragging one of these things out to the light of day. You might have a problem getting more than one, at least without giving me some phenomenal checks. I will also add Those are not Umber Hulks or Umber Whelks.
Oh, got it. Okay, so we have to keep going. These are not what we want to process. Do you guys have any interest in processing a-holes?
Yes.
No, 100% no.
I would like it. like it to
I
be
want the
known
a-hole's shell.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. I will need you to have a second person to help.
I will help.
Wonderful. I'm going to bring up one of your guys' character sheets at random. Actually, I'm going to bring up Mira's so that I'm not biased. And just so that I can look at the list, because I never remember these. There it is. We are still in nature check land.
Okay.
That's on you then.
There will be a minute. You may cast mending.
So are you rolling for us?
You're
You
gonna
are
roll.
both rolling.
Okay.
We're both rolling.
Gosh, I thought you had rolled 2d6 and got a 4. I was going to be baffled.
And together we make 22.
Okay. With a 22, let me check my chart. Wonderful. You have available, and this is assuming that you have like dragged it out into the light, as was mentioned. You have the opportunity to grab either 1 large shell fragment or 2 proboscis.
Then
What
you guys
is-
could sword fight.
Ugh.
You did specifically say you wanted the shell, so
That's
Mhm.
what I was gonna go for. I feel like
Yeah.
someone earlier on wanted some better armor, and I think if we bring back some shell fragments, that'll help in the creation of that. So we'll get the shell fragment.
Wonderful. From here, I will say if you would like to get them out into the light for some carving, if you can make appropriate athletics checks, like I'll say 2 of the 4 of you total make a successful athletics check, you can get a second one of these shells, or get a second one of these bodies out to try and make the check.
Can we use Glitch as a pack mule and I can roll athletics for him instead of me?
Sure, that's fair.
Nope, he sucks too.
Oh man.
Mm.
Even with a 4.
Yeah, I thought with a 4 seemed pretty good, but
Yep.
can't beat the dice.
All right. I mean, you could also just harvest it here.
That's true.
I wasn't gonna.
we certainly could. I thought that was what we needed and that we were going to
It's in the dark.
I didn't know that we needed to keep going, so.
Yeah. I will say harvesting definitely takes a little bit of time, but you can at least get 2 of these.
2 shells.
So feel free to once again elect 2 of you guys to make nature checks.
I can do it if nobody ejects.
I only have a 1, so I don't want to do it.
I'm not proficient, but I have a 4.
So,
Question is, do you want to do it though?
I really don't want to be elbow deep in slimy stuff, but I also don't want to let the team know.
And especially
I-
you're going to be on your knees. So
If I
like
have the best chance for success, I'm happy to jump in, but if anybody else has got a 4 or better, I would just as soon not.
half of your body is going to be covered in goo.
I'm terrible at nature checks, but I'll do it again if need be.
Alright, I'll do it.
I have a 2, so
Not advantage, though.
I will take your first one.
should I do it anyway?
Roll it.
There it is.
Wonderful. You guys
22.
hit exactly the same, or almost exactly the same numbers before. Actually, it is the same numbers before.
Exactly.
That's
the
Yeah,
same.
22.
it is.
So you
Yeah.
will once again have the option of a shell fragment, a large shell fragment. We're talking like plate-sized, dinner plate sized, or to Probiscai,
What is that actually?
the tentacly eye thingy, the stalk.
I think probably the shell again.
Sounds good. You guys have acquired a second algae hull shell. Oh, and I was confused about stuff until I remembered I had Mira's character sheet up. Okay. Well, here's the thing. The cave goes deeper, but it's about 8:30, and we didn't take a break. So, unless somebody strongly objects and wants us to go all night, I think this is a good place to call it for now.
Works for me.
I strongly object and want to go all night.
Okay. Well,
Well, you've been doing it by yourself.
Right?
I am very happy that we have come this far. I was not 100% sure whether we were going to use this map ever, but I worked really hard on it anyway. So thank you guys. And also, we had previously finished a major story arc, and I was going to open with, hey everybody, we're going to hit level 4, because you've definitely earned level 4 after 3 episodes, but definitely after 4. So if you would like to, go ahead and give yourselves a pat on the back and a level up. And if you have any questions or want to float stuff by me, please feel free. I have already developed how we're going to do any sort of light character tweaks, but you don't necessarily have to keep those in mind as you do your level ups. You do you. Also, I think level 4 is feat time. Heck yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love feats.
Woo! Feet, feet, feet.
Can I choose to level up before Friday, but not right now?
Oh, absolutely.
So
Sweet.
You absolutely do not have to do it right this second. You will have all the time in the world. Feel free to log into Roll20 and take whatever time you need. Also, feel free to ping me if you have any questions.
I'm going to take this time to go to bed now.
That's a good call. Oh, before I lose you at least,
Sure.
the reason we were doing this now is because we missed the last session, and I am going to be out of town this coming week, which would be when we would hold this next. So, we will pass on the 5th, and it looks like the next session would be August 19th.
Sounds good.
All right, so we just need to level up before then.
Yep.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Thanks, guys.
okie dokie.
Had a great session. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you very much for
Zell.
playing, guys.